with Fennig Equipment. You're tuned into the Talking Shed. Today we're going to talk about row cleaners. Row cleaners are almost a mandatory attachment on your corn planter or bean planter. We're going to talk about why here in a second. We've advocated for removing that no-till coulter for a long time and putting on a floating row cleaner. Here in front of me I've got the MartinTill ACCR, I've got the Yetter 2940 Air Adjust, and I've got the Yetter 2967 short floating with a clean sweep cylinder. We're going to break down all three of these row cleaners, talk about the pros and cons of each one, and find out which one fits you best and why. Let's go. So up first is the MartinTill ACCR 1360. This is a parallel linkage row cleaner that interlocks. You know, Martin has got that interlocking ability, but this is a really nice short row cleaner. If you look from the side, your faceplate to front point is extremely small. I think it's around 13-14 inches. So real short, real tight, sits up real close to your row unit. What I like about this row cleaner is a few things. When we put our air cylinder in here, which mounts right there, and then down at the bottom down here, that air cylinder is running straight up and down. So when we're doing that action, it's a straight up, straight down action, and that's what you get out of the parallel linkage design when it floats straight up and down as well. It's got all cast parallel arms, and I really like actually how these interlock. Now when we're talking about going into heavy residue cover crops, this interlocking system is going to be able to shield away and push away more residue than any other row cleaner out on the market. Now I have a lot of guys who ask me, do I need the cylinder? And that question will come up over here on the Yetter as well. Well, I think if you're going to spend the money on an elite row cleaner, you might as well be able to adjust it instantly from the cab rather than having to stop your planning program, get out and manually adjust these. I really don't sell them without the cylinder. I think it's a must. It allows you to put down pressure on this row cleaner. If you get into heavy corn stalks or plant through cover crops, you're going to want a little bit of down pressure to push that unit to help part that. You can see these blades, when they go down through here, it just parts that residue real nice. It just combs it all out of the way as it comes and kicks it back, creates a nice open bare strip. I think the MartinTill is an extremely good option, and quite frankly, I think if you're going to spend the money, I think that is the best bang for your buck. We go over here to the Yetter 2940 Air Adjust residue management. All the good things I just said about the Martin, this right here is the Cadillac. There is no other row cleaner that you can more precisely adjust up and down to the 1/10 of an inch. I mean, you can put 20 psi in this bag, 20 psi in this bag, and that row cleaner will be able to wobble in this area right here. You put 40 in the down pressure and 20 in the up, and now you're pushing it down just a little bit more than you are on the upside. Now, these do not come with the treader wheels simply because you don't need them, because we can so precisely control them. I also anymore don't really sell treader wheels with either one of these options anyways, for a couple reasons. If you've got the ability to accurately adjust it from the cab, there's no need for a depth band. Not only that, but if you look, if you are going deep enough to be relying on this depth band, you're digging awfully deep anyways. I like running without a depth band. So right here you have got the most elite row cleaner on the market. John Deere has figured this out. You're seeing them on brand new planters, and the 2940 Air Adjust, by far the most accurate, cleanest, smoothest row cleaner on the market. Now, of course, we got to add this back to value and ROI. When we lay these out on paper, this is going to have the highest price point. There's a lot of guys that wouldn't want to spend that kind of money, or wouldn't maybe need that type of elite row cleaner, you can get by just fine with something like the Martin ACCR or the Yetter 2967. But if you think you need that kind of adjustment on your farm, this right here is by far the best and most accurate, easiest to use row cleaner on the market. Again, parallel linkage design, much like the Martin 1360. We come over here, last but not least, is our 2967 row cleaner. This is the standard Yetter short floating row cleaner. Honestly, I've got more of this row cleaner out on the market than any of these row cleaners probably combined. Why is that? Number one, this one's been out for the longest amount of time. Number two, when we're talking price point, because we have to do that here in this video, we're not just talking best, worst, and how they work. We have to relay it to ROI and value. This is going to have the lowest price point, but it's still an extremely effective row cleaner. Let's not forget that. So we can drop a air cylinder down in this one as well, control it from the cab. It floats up and down just like all of them. Now this one does pivot. Way back here is our pivot point, and that is kind of where the 1360 might have the edge. It pivots straight up, straight down. This one does still pivot around an arc, but I'm telling you, we're splitting hairs here. I've got so many great farmers running this 2967 row cleaner, and they'd tell you they wouldn't go any other way. Really good row cleaner. This pin right here sets your bottom. You can see those multi-hole adjustments. When you raise this pin, it just raises how low that row cleaner can go. From there, the air cylinder takes over and does all of your adjustments. Again, I really don't sell them much with treader wheels anymore, just because that air cylinder can take care of doing all of that controlling for you. So let's break it down. The Yetter 2940, this is the most accurate, most elite, quickest reacting, fine tuning. I mean, you can make that row cleaner sit there and be squishy. You can have a little bit up, a little bit down. You can lock it in to where you make it so tight that it's almost rigid. You can raise them all the way up. You can put them all the way down. Very nice row cleaner. Price point, it's the highest by a few $100s per row. The Yetter 2967, it's not an economy model by any means. This is an elite row cleaner, very good row cleaner. There are, when we're splitting hairs between these things, it does pivot around an arc. You do have the pin that sets your bottom, which is fine. Nothing wrong with this row cleaner. Something like this you can get into for in the $600 to $700 range. Very good row cleaner. Over here, I rely on the ACCR if a guy's telling me he's planting into extreme residue, such as corn stalks on a bean planter or tall cover crops. My cover crop guys, right here is the row cleaner for you, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because it overlaps. It is amazing how much more residue that can clear out of the way than some of the others. The Yetter has got an overlapping design. It can still clear out plenty of residue, don't get me wrong. But when I lean on my MartinTills is when we talk heavy residue. If a guy's just planting corn into bean ground or work ground or no tilling or minimum till, maybe he's running a Salford, 2967. That's where I'm going. If a guy plants into everything and wants to run an isobus or an isobus controller to control his up and down on his Gen 4 John Deere display, I'm going air adjust. But that's my breakdown on all of these. We sell a bunch of all of them. They all hold their place, but I get a lot of questions. Which one's the best? Which one's this? Well, it goes deeper than that. We need to know what you're doing, and we need to know how you're going to use them and what you've got for a tractor and planter, because every one of these has got its use. And in the same week, we may sell 50 rows of each one. It's not like we all lean on the Yetters or lean on the MartinTills. We need all these row cleaners to fit different scenarios. So that's what we're doing today, breaking down different row cleaner options and which ones work for you. Whichever one you choose, you do need to make sure that this spring you are running some type of a row cleaner. It's a must. We need to ditch that no-till coulter. We need to let the row cleaners clean that trench, have a smoother ride, and you'll have a clean seed bed to place that seed. And then it also makes the job a lot easier on these poly spikes that come through and zip that slot shut. So that's what we're doing today, talking about what row cleaner may fit you best. And thanks for tuning in.